this is Ractus, doing character creation with TurtleJohn for the upcoming game of Myriad Song. How are you doing, Turtle?
Doing pretty good. Excited to make some violence. Roger, Roger.
Alrighty. And that basically intros the character idea that we've talked about so far. We're going to skip over some of the things that you normally do in the order of making a character because it's easier to do them last when you've had a more filled out idea of your character. So we're going to skip right to your character's legacy, otherwise species, race, that sort of thing in other games. What was your legacy going to be?
I think it was a synth. You said it was a synth. That's the robot race?
Yes, synth.
The robotic race? Yeah.
Yep, basically like androids, robots, that sort of thing. So we'll just go and put synth down.
Yep, that's the plan.
And if I didn't tell you before, the way I've done this with everybody else is I make your character on stream, and then after we're done, I'll send you the sheet. And if there's any further questions you have about what anything else means, we can get that hashed out before the game starts. As a synth, you get a cybernetic body and a cybernetic brain.
Fancy.
And before I explain what those actually mean, we'll get onto your skills. And again, this is basically the same way that Ironclaw works. You'll have skills that you roll with and determine how things go. And a synth starts with craft. So if you ever need to repair yourself, you're at least down for it. Endurance for long treks and whatnot. And transport. So if the group needs a driver, you're at least a candidate.
I can technically do it.
Yeah, you at least have some skill.
Okay.
Alright, a cybernetic body means that you have a lack of organs that makes you immune to the poison condition. As long as you don't exhaust the gift of cybernetic body, you are also airtight, which is to mean that you don't suffocate due to lack of atmosphere and that you are also immune to the smother condition.
How do you exhaust?
I'm glad you asked, because that's the next thing I was about to say. When you're hit by an attack, you can exhaust the gift of cybernetic body to lower the damage by 1 point. Which basically, in thematic terms, means that your casing cracks and you also are no longer airtight.
Okay. And it recharges when I just chill out for a bit, or do I have to repair myself?
You have to repair yourself. It's a fixed gift, basically. Cybernetic gifts are fixed gifts.
Okay.
And whether your gift is exhausted or not, you are still basically cybernetic, and you treat healing differently. As we've discussed before, if you become hurt, you have to fix yourself over the course of 5 minutes to get rid of the hurt.
Somebody else. Yeah, or have somebody else fix me.
Yep. You treat panicked the same way as everybody else does. Myriad Song has panicked and not terrified. Or, I mean, panicked and not afraid. It's the same basic mechanic, though. If you become injured, again, takes a long time and somebody has to repair it, whether that be you or them. Instead of dying, you become unconscious and must be repaired still. Dead is also unconscious. Takes a long time, but you can be repaired. The only way that you're dead for good is if you get overkilled.
That's also when I explode, right? Like someone just.
Yeah, basically, or if you get disintegrated by strange psychic powers, or space magics, or you flew too close to the sun. Whatever happens. Additionally, you have a cybernetic brain, which is described as a complex array of polytronic relays powered by a decaying duodecic isotope.
Sci-fi words.
Yes. Written underneath all the technobabble, by the way, is you have a sophisticated machine for a brain. The simple words. which can also be exhausted. For the same effect of lowering damage by at least 1 point. So long as your cybernetic brain is not exhausted, though, you have a sensor suite of sonar and radio waves. Mere light does not block your vision. You suffer no concealment penalties even when you are blind against targets at short range.
Cool.
You are able to perceive electricity and generate radio waves. You may communicate with other like creatures, which includes elvers, because they have an electronic sense of their own. Towsers, which can perceive the magnetic spectrum, and other fully functional cybernetic brains, like synths.
Okay.
Whenever you pause and take a focus action, you can intercept radio signals with a successful roll. And as a stunt, you may interface directly with computers using a cable or other access port close to you. So kind of think of a R2-D2 sort of thing.
Yeah. I just stick out my little arm thing and jab it into people. Or jab it into computers.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually more of a RoboCop sort of thing.
Could I do it into another synth? Could I, like, incapacitate him and jam into his head or something?
I don't think that's a problem. I think that's something. I mean, they would get a roll to resist you.
Well, yeah, but, you know.
Because the thing about that is that it's not just synths. Any character can have the gift of cybernetic brain. It's just a very expensive and long process of transferring an organic brain to a cybernetic one.
I just like to know my options.
Yep. Does not hurt to ask. Alright, next up is your choice of where you come from, that sort of thing, like how you were raised. How were you imagining your character's background?
Is there one where can I be like from a really heavily industrialized planet? Like I'm just one of thousands of people like just like me? Like I want to be a mass-produced robot.
There are manufacturing worlds, if that's what you're talking about. You come out from a working class background, someone has to build cars and mass drivers, lift up the skyscrapers, pave the roads, and that's been you, that sort of thing? You're part of the brotherhood of every man, woman, and other who work for their hands?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's what you want?
Well, hold on. Are there more, like, industrialized war-torn worlds? Like, is there a world where I can go off the quote-unquote synth factory line and immediately be fighting people?
Like a paramilitary? That's an option. You've been around guns and ammo since you were small. You're no stranger to the thunderous report of a gunpowder, or to the cordite smell that it leaves behind. You may be a citizen of a world that has had constant warfare, or you may have fallen in with mercenaries at an early age.
That sounds good. Like they made me slap me on the butt, programmed me for violence, Roger, Roger, and sent me out.
Makes sense to me.
I like that.
Alright, paramilitary. That means you start the game with bullet conservation.
Boy.
And the paramilitary loadout.
Okay. Bullet conservation is just better at not missing?
No. In this game, certain weapons, typically ones that use bullets, obviously, have capacities, and when you fire them, the capacity lowers from whatever the gun's capacity is down a notch. So a high capacity gun will go down to medium or low or empty, at which point that's when you have to reload.
So bullet conservation increases the amount of time before I'm forced to reload.
Actually, if your gun has like a capacity high or low, you can declare that you'll use bullet conservation, and what it does is it makes your damage flat, but it does not use your ammo up. So if your if your damage was, say, damage plus 3, it now does straight 3 damage, no added anything to it, and your capacity doesn't drop after use. So, I mean, it's very dependent on when you'd want to use it. Say you're getting into a fight and you don't want to have to bother reloading. You decide you're going to make every shot count, but at the same time, you're not going to shoot to kill. You're just going to shoot to make sure you set, because, anytime you hit somebody, you send them reeling, which is also very painful to get through.
Okay. So it's basically, instead of focusing on murdering people with my shots, I focus on taking people down with my shots.
I mean, that, or maybe you've got other gifts that can boost your flat damage. The basic thing about flat damage is that your successes don't add to the damage, but if you have other gifts that add to the damage, those still apply. So you might still you might be able to tap a couple of gifts and do flat 5 damage. It's just the fact that when you're doing flat damage, all you care about is having one success. So you do any damage at all. Whereas if you have adding damage, like damage plus 3, every success adds to that damage. If that makes sense to you.
Kind of. So it's like Ironclaw. The more successes I have, the more damage I deal.
Yeah, if you watched the fight that we had in the last game, that kind of shows.
It, no.
Yeah, well, like I said, I wish you were there.
Yeah.
Also, you have the paramilitary loadout, which gives you 1 paramilitary outfit. In this game, armor does more than just armor. It's like more of an assortment of items that you have on your person. Like an outfit might give you a survey bonus, which indicates that you might have like a flashlight or something on there, or something that can see the area around you. So they're more than just armor bonuses to absorb damage. They're also just like kits to allow you to interact with the world better. Like an engineer might give you a repair bonus.
Alright.
If that makes sense. You also start with a knife and a holdout pistol, which is basically a concealable gun.
Okay.
And
so I have a fancy outfit, some tools to repair myself.
Actually, I wouldn't use the word fancy outfit because that is actually an outfit. there are fancy outfits. They actually help you reason with people. Yep, you actually have a paramilitary outfit, and I need you to make a choice here. You can either start with 1 military carbine, 1 military rifle, or 1 military shotgun.
Carbine is like an assault gun, right? Like where it rat-a-tat-tats?
Hold on one sec. You also start with 3 fragmentation grenades.
Okay.
I'm just putting that down so that I can now look up the military carbine and tell you how it is different from the other 3 options. Military carbine, let's see, rifle and shotgun. The military carbine and rifle both use speed, mind, and shooting to hit with. The shotgun uses body speed and shooting. The carbine has damage plus 2 and it can sweep short, which means that if you hit somebody with the first hit, you can sweep to another target that's in range. The military rifle is damage plus 2 #critical and it can sweep short. I'm sorry, it can sweep medium. So it does.
What does sweeping do? Is it when I knock somebody down or something?
No. That's what I told you a second ago. You hit somebody once, right? And that means you can sweep to the next target. Basically, imagine any action movie where the guy pulls out like a assault rifle and he blows like an entire row of people away. That would be a sweep, right?
Oh, okay.
You hit one person and then you sweep to the next person, and so long as you get another hit and you have people in range that you haven't hit yet, you can keep sweeping.
So I pull a Scarface, I just from one end of the room to the other.
Yeah, you tell them to say hello to your little friend.
Okay.
The military rifle also has #critical, which means that if you score more than 1 success, basically, if you score 2 or more successes, it does an additional 2 points of damage.
Okay.
The military shotgun, on the other hand, does damage +1 hashtag nearby, so if they're in near range, it does an additional 2 damage, and it sweeps short.
And then what is the rifle? The regular rifle? I know the carbine has the room-to-room spread thing.
Well, that's what I was saying. The military carbine is damage 2, sweep short. The rifle is damage 2, critical, sweep medium, and the shotgun is damage +1, nearby, sweep short. The technical description of them all is: a carbine requires 2 hands, has a short barrel, and is good for close quarters fighting in tight spaces. It is sometimes called a submachine gun. A rifle has a long barrel, which gives the bullet more acceleration and thus more damage. However, the awkward size of the rifle makes it worse when fighting at short ranges, as it's too slow to properly threaten or counter. The shotgun is a smooth bore weapon that fires shot instead of slugs. More of these pellets will strike a target at near range, which makes it the deadliest weapon for narrow spaces. The pellets are also less likely to hurt non-combatants at longer ranges or to penetrate walls of vehicle hulls, which makes the shotgun very popular with police, marines, and spaceship crew. And you're checking from the military side of ones, which military weapons are fully automatic. As long as the trigger is held down, bullets keep firing. This high rate of fire allows them to sweep an area and hit multiple targets in a matter of seconds. So you still have your choice: military carbine, military rifle,
I think
or
I want to do
military
the
shotgun.
shotgun.
Okay.
I want to do the military shotgun because I think it'd be better for Mr. Bones.
Alright, military shotgun. And now we're back to selecting your career.
Can I take the career of violence?
I mean, there are a lot of careers of violence. You'd have to select one.
Okay.
Let's see. Which ones are specifically violent? Would you like to be an assassin, a bravo, a grenadier?
What's a bravo?
A bravo. The bravo uses their talent for bare-knuckle violence and powerful personality to make an impact, for good or ill. Choose this fighting career if you want to dish out bare-knuckle beatdowns. There's also the hunter, mercenary, soldier, stormtrooper, vanguard. I've got a couple more options, I think.
Is there one that focuses on like swordplay?
I mean, there could. Hold on.
Like, I want to play the one where I jump down on people, stab them a whole bunch.
I mean, from what position would you say? Like, do you want to be a sneaky guy that does that, or?
No, I want to be a terrifying force of nature that just sprints at them.
But you want to stab, though. Not punch, but stab.
Yeah, I want to stab.
So, Grenadier is out.
Grenadier has explosives, I'm assuming.
I mean, do you really want to be able to shoot, or do you not care about shooting?
It is secondary to stabbing.
And do you care about, let's say you're playing a video game, right? Do you care about cover mechanics, or do you really just want to be out there in the midst of things?
Cover mechanics.
Okay. And how much do you care about interacting with people?
Not at all.
Okay, so you don't need
Absolutely
haggling.
none.
No haggling required, so mercenary is out. So far, it's looking like you want to be a guerrilla. Which is ironic, because I'm not talking about Ironclaw. Specializing in attack from ambush, the guerrilla uses cover and stealth to fight on their terms. Choose this fighting career if you want to bushwhack your opponents.
Sounds good. So I just jump out at people and stab them up.
Or a soldier.
What does a soldier do?
Or stormtrooper, actually. Soldier uses their ability to fight and their talent for teamwork to do violence. Choose this fighting career if you want to fight multiple enemies. Whereas the stormtroopers are trained to pour out ammunition. Choose this fighting career if you want to drown your enemies in bullets. Never mind. Stormtrooper does not have fighting, which means they're not very good with the knife or sword. Vanguard. Vanguards are close-in combat experts, trained to close the distance quickly. Choose this fighting career if you want to smash your enemies in person. They're pretty good at dodging. They're pretty good at fighting with the swords. They've got a charging strike to get up close, and they've got a gift for making it so they're harder to hit when they're far away.
Let's do Vanguard. Vanguard sounds good.
Let me just check one more thing to make sure you've got all your options in front of you. Because there's a couple more careers that are just a bit different. There's Outlaw. Outlaws didn't choose a violent life. They focus on keeping themselves alive. Choose this fighting career if you want to cope with terrible attacks. Yeah, that's really the only other option other than Vanguard. So, sticking with Vanguard.
What was Outlaw again? I had to deal with kids.
Outlaws didn't choose a violent life. They focus on keeping themselves alive. Choose this fighting career if you want to cope with terrible attacks. They're pretty good behind cover. They've got a sense for when danger's coming. Otherwise, they're good at dodging, shooting, and fighting.
I think Vanguard is better for what I want to do.
Alright. Alright, let's go back to Vanguard. Alright, so Vanguards get the gift of Charging Strike and Serpentine. As well, they get the skills in Evasion, Fighting, and Tactics.
Is fighting just the de facto like melee attacks?
Yeah, basically, we're in Ironclaw. It's called melee fighting, and this one it's just fighting.
Fighting.
Yeah, because the difference here between fighting and the other one is that brawling covers hand to hand, whereas fighting covers with weapons. Okay. Another difference here being that tactics is also the skill that rallies people. So if you want to like, hey, get in there, from somebody who's like on their back and reeling, you would roll your tactics instead of leadership.
And that's the thing Vanguard gets?
Yep, that's one of the things Vanguard gets. Also,
that's perfect.
Also, you have an Aramid outfit.
What does that do?
Aramid, well, we'll go through that when we describe also what your paramilitary outfit gets. Also, you get an axe. Just an axe.
Like a fire axe?
Yeah, basically. Just a combat axe. And a holdout shotgun, which is more of a concealable shotgun. So basically you have your military shotgun, which is your elite model, and you've got your holdout shotgun. So if you want to like carry it around in a box of roses or whatever weird shit you want to
do. I want to put it in my guitar case.
Also 2 reloads for that.
So I can empty the clip twice and still have reloads for it? Or empty the clips twice and then be on my
Yeah, you can empty out 1 full capacity, reload, empty out another full capacity, and then reload again. And then you'll be out of shots. Unless you go around buying more shots.
Alright.
And now we choose your starting gift package. Basically, Myriad Song has like these packages you can buy, or not buy, you start the game with that makes it easier for a starting player, rather than having to go through in a whole book. So I'm just going to name off the names of some of these starting packages, and you tell me to stop when one sounds appropriate. Alright?
Alright, go ahead.
First one is Akimbo Assassin.
Eh.
Then we have Blooded Warrior.
Okay, that sounds promising.
That gives you the gift of Resolve, which means that you would include your will when you're soaking damage. You would get the gift of Vengeance, which I believe lets you deal more damage when you're hurt. And you also get the gift of Veteran, which means that when you aim or when you guard, instead of having a bonus D8, you would have a bonus D12. There's also Close Quarters Combatant.
Okay.
Commander.
Commander sounds good too.
Commander also would give you Resolve and Veteran. The only difference is that it would also give you True Leader, which I believe would allow you to... True Leader. I believe that's the one that allows you to rally people and give them focus. Focus meaning in this, basically, that they would either be able to interrupt somebody when they're about to do something, or they can take 3 actions on their turn instead of the normal 2.
Okay.
There's the Demolitions Expert. There is Devil May
Doesn't
Care.
sound like him at all. Devil May Care does not sound like him at all.
Ensemble, which is basically having an ally and a gang of irregulars.
Yeah.
There's the Handsome Rogue.
No.
There is the Living Weapon.
Okay. That sounds good. What is that?
That would give you cybernetic armor, which basically is like a... You know how all your other cybernetic weapons you can exhaust to then like negate damage? Cybernetic armor is like that, except I think you can use that for 2 damage instead of 1 damage.
Nice.
Cybernetic durability. Actually, hold on one second. Let me just double check, because cybernetic durability is what I just described. So let me just make sure what cybernetic armor actually is. Oh, as long as the gift is not exhausted, you may claim a bonus D6 armor dice. So it helps you soak damage, and then you can exhaust it to negate damage.
Cool.
And then there's cybernetic weapon, which means that you have one of your weapons built in. Makes it harder.
That sounds
makes it harder to find.
perfect.
So you want to go with a living weapon?
What was the?
Well, here I can keep reading. First one that
there was living weapon, and then commander sounded good.
Oh, was it? I thought it was Bloodied Warrior. That the other one you thought.
Bloodied warrior sounded really good too, but commander.
Well, let
sounded
me keep
better.
reading. Let me keep reading because there's more of them. There's Martial Artist.
No.
Mutant Freak.
No.
Non-combatant.
No.
The Professional.
No.
Savior of the Universe.
No.
School of Hard Knocks.
No.
Sharpshooter.
No.
And lastly, Smooth Talker.
No. So, Bloodied Warrior, Commander, and Living Weapon.
Well, the only difference between Bloodied Warrior and Commander is Commander has True Leader and Bloodied Warrior has Vengeance. And let me just double check what Vengeance actually is.
Isn't it kind of like a Berserker thing? The more damage you're taking, the more damage you're dishing out.
That's what I believe it is. But I just want to double check for the sake of you having all your options. You may claim a bonus D12 to all counters when you're hurt, injured, or sick. Even if you have 2 or more of these conditions, you only get 1 bonus D12. Yeah, so the more hurt you are, the better off, or the harder you could fight.
Let's go with Living Weapon.
Whereas, yep, what I said about True Leader was right. You can add focus to someone that would rally. Living Weapon. So, you would get cybernetic armor.
Does it stack with my cybernetic body?
It does. Cybernetic durability.
So I can use them both and just ignore a bunch of damage.
Yeah, but you have to fix them, and fixing takes time,
Yeah.
and most of the time you can't fix yourself in the middle of a fight.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, I could catch a grenade to the face and use both of them and still be technically fine. I'd be hurt, but I'd be alive.
Yeah. So, cybernetic armor, you have an armored shell. It could be plastic meshes to absorb impact, ceramic plating to protect fragile spots, or just sheets of bolted-on metal. So, as I said before, you can claim a bonus D6 armor dice so long as the gift isn't exhausted, but you may exhaust the gift anytime to lower a damage effect by 1. And it even has a specific note here. Yes, you may roll the armor dice first, then exhaust the gift to drop the damage to 1 after you benefited from the armor. So the order of operations is entirely to your benefit.
Nice. And then it's cybernetic armor, it's an extra D6, and then that D6 gets subtracted from the damage I'm taking, yeah?
What it is when you soak damage, you roll, typically it's your body. If you had the gift of resolve, you could add your will as well. If you're wearing armor, you add the armor dice to that. And with this, you would roll the d6, and every result over 4 subtracts the damage by 1. So say you had a d6 body, say you had a d6 this armor, and say you had a d6 armor from your outfit. If you rolled all 3 of those, and say you were taking a 3-point hit, if you rolled, say, a 6, a 4, and a 1, you would subtract 2 from the 3-point hit, which would mean that you were both reeling and hurt. And then you could, say, exhaust the armor to negate the last point of damage, and then have nothing happen to you. I'm sure it'll make more sense when we actually play.
Yeah. Alright.
You also
it's
have...
one of those things I need to see in action.
Yep. You also have the gift of cybernetic durability, which means you have redundant systems in case of catastrophic damage. And basically that means is you can exhaust that gift to lower damage effect by 2 points instead of 1. And additionally, you have a cybernetic weapon. Nothing puts fear and respect into people like replacing your hand with a giant gun.
Can I replace my whole arm with a big-ass sword?
Let's see here. There are notes about these things. Let's see. If the weapon is two-handed, it's so large that it replaces one of your hands. If the weapon is a good hand weapon, you may mount it either inside your hand or forearm. If it's an offhand weapon, mount it almost anywhere else. I know there's... You said you wanted to replace your arm, right?
Yeah, my whole arm. I want my entire arm to be this big.
Yeah, you want to be
sword.
Mega Man, I hear you. You want to be Mega Man with a sword.
Mega Man with a sword. I want to be Zero, but instead of a Buster, he has an arm or a sword.
Yeah, at
So
best it only replaces one of your hands. I mean, you would still want at least part of your arm. You wouldn't want it from the shoulder down. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, so I still have like the joint, but my hand is gone.
You have all the joints. It only replaces your hand.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you wanted, I guess, one of your two-hand weapons, or one of your two-hand melee weapons can be a blade.
Okay.
You know what, let's go down and figure that out. You want a sword. Because you can start with any affordable, non-prescribed weapon at the start, and we can make that your cybernetic weapon. A sword is 2 hands, and it uses body speed and fighting for a damage +2. Although you already have an axe if you want to make your cybernetic weapon an axe. Which is just body and fighting, but that's damage +2 critical.
Could I make my cybernetic weapon my shotgun?
Yeah. Which one though?
So like the one I got from military life. So I just have a shotgun as
military shotgun is 2 hands, so the end of one arm is a shotgun instead of a hand.
It's just a shotgun barrel. That'd be cool.
Yeah, basically that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of your wrist is just a double barrel or single barrel, or whatever kind of shotgun barrel you want. So, alright, we'll just put that down. Cybernetic weapon, military shotgun.
Alright. I'm okay with
Actually, there's a specific note about capacity weapons in your cybernetic weapon spot. So let me just go back to that. Ooh, thunderstorm outside. That's great. Yeah, one of the pre-built characters has a cybernetic weapon chainsaw.
That'd be cool too, if it doesn't fit with Mr. Bones as much. Really, the shotgun doesn't fit either, but I feel like Mr. Bones would want to be more efficient in his violence.
Alright, let's go here. Weapon is prescribed. I don't think it is. Oh, there's a note. If the weapon is prescribed, then you are prescribed too. Which means if the weapon's illegal, you are also illegal.
Oh!
Let's see. Actually, let's double check that real quick. Military shotgun is prescribed. Do you want to be an illegal synth?
So it's illegal for me to have my arm as a military shotgun.
Yes, because the military shotgun itself is prescribed. Which isn't to say it is itself illegal, it's probably not legal for you to have one. But you do have one.
Oh. Is there ways for me to hide it?
It's not concealable. I mean, you have a holdout shotgun, which is concealable, and oddly not prescribed. The thing about your holdout shotgun, though, is that it's damage plus 0 nearby, which means it doesn't get the sweep like your military shotgun does. And it's also cap low, which means it basically gets like one shot.
Nah, screw it. I'll take the regular shotgun, the military shotgun, shoved onto my arm. I'll let them deal with it. Let them deal with trying to get Mr. Bones into places.
Alright, let me go back to finding that note that I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. Burden weapon. Yours isn't. Two-handed. You already know you're losing your hand. Your weapon, it consumes ammo normally and can be reloaded via an external port. On your turn, you may claim an extra action and equip cybernetic weapon action. Yes, you still need to equip it, but you get an action to do so, an extra action to do so. So when you get extra actions, that means that they don't consume your 2 actions per turn. You just automatically are able to do them. It just means that since you're taking an extra action to equip, you cannot take another equip action on your turn when you're doing that. And of course,
And
if
I'm
you
getting my arm ready to shoot people. Right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
When I'm getting my arm ready to shoot people, I can't do other things too.
To equip it, I mean, you can still take another attack action or anything else. Just you can't take a second equip action. There's a standard action economy in Cardinal games, which is never the same action twice in the same round.
How do I equip my arm?
It's equip in this sense just means readying it.
So I just like activate it.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And much like all your other cybernetic stuff, if you want to, you can exhaust the gift to subtract 1 point of damage, which breaks your cybernetic weapon. A cybernetic weapon can't be used again until it's repaired.
Okay.
So throughout your entire body, you can basically just keep breaking your own parts of your body to negate damage. Next thing we do is we still have skill marks in this game.
Okay.
And in this one, instead of having 12, you only have 9. And there are a few. You can only do 3 maximum in each skill, and there are a few less skills in this game than there were in the other ones. So I'm just going to read down the list and what they do, and you tell me which ones sound like you want to invest points in them. Alright?
Okay.
First one is academics, higher education,
Nope.
book learning, and medicine. No? Okay.
Nope.
Athletics, climbing, jumping, swimming, and gymnastics.
Nope.
Craft, repairing and making things.
That would be really useful. I want that.
Noted. Deceit, lying, cheating, and disguise.
Nope.
Endurance, working through fatigue and deprivation.
Yes. Wait, do I have fatigue as a sin? Do I have to sleep?
You don't sleep per se, but you do go through a cycle which is required to eliminate like faults in your own programming that accumulate throughout the day.
So I bug check.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So yeah, endurance would be good.
Evasion, which is dodging, hiding, and sneaking.
I want to be able to dodge, yeah.
Fighting, which is hand-to-hand combat.
Very important.
Negotiation, debate, persuasion, and reasoning.
Not important at all.
Observation, perceiving the world around you.
Not important at all.
Presence, making yourself recognized, respected, or feared.
Not important to him at all.
Psyche, understanding and wielding extraordinary and extra-dimensional powers, bless you.
Thank you. Again, not super important. Mr. Bones doesn't need magic, he has violence.
Questioning, gossip, interrogation, and psychology, bless you.
Thank you. Not important.
Shooting, ranged combat.
Important. Pretty important.
Tactics, fighting alongside others.
Important.
And transport, working with transportation such as cars, spacecraft, and riding animals.
Mildly important.
Alright, so you've selected craft, endurance, evasion, fighting, shooting, tactics, and transport. You have 9 skill marks. You can make a maximum of 3 in any one skill. What do you want to invest in? And the same way as Ironclaw, 1 skill mark is a D4, 2 skill marks is a D6, 3 skill marks is a D8.
I want 3 in fighting, 2 in invasion, and evasion, excuse me.
Okay, that's 5 so far. You have 4 remaining.
1 in craft, 1 in endurance, 1 in transport, and 1 in tactics. And then I've got everything I need.
Well, that makes it very easy. Alright. Now
I'll just have to get more shit later on.
we also need to determine what your character's personality is.
Roger. Roger, Roger, and violence. That's it.
So you want to say violent?
Incredibly violent.
Alrighty. And I guess you're saying that your motto is Roger, Roger?
My motto is I perform violence, Roger, Roger.
Alright. And now you need to determine a starting goal.
Perform violence.
Oh, fair enough. Do you have a name in mind?
Mr. Bones. It's actually, it's, I'm gonna send it to you in Discord. That's his actual name, or actual series. Hold on.
I mean, is that the one you want to use?
Yeah. It's M1B0NE. It's his model number.
All right. Okay, let's before we get to those numbers, let's find out what your bonuses of your paramilitary outfit are. A paramilitary outfit gives you a bonus D6 armor. So we'll put that down in your soak real quick. It also gives you a bonus D8 to climb. It gives you a bonus D8 survival. And it gives you a bonus D8 to survey.
Okay.
And if you didn't see before, I did link, I don't know if paramilitary is one of them, a visual aid to a bunch of the outfits that are in the game. Let's see if I can get you a better description of what things are, though. A survival bonus applies to endurance rolls made to forage for food or shelter in the wilderness, to endure long journeys, or to handle wild animals. Survival outfits include extremely comfortable shoes and well-ventilated clothing, water purifiers, small fire-starting kits or emergency blankets, tools for skinning and preparing game, and repellent sprays to scare off critters. That's one of your bonuses there. You also have one for survey bonuses. A survey bonus applies to rolls looking around and keeping track of your surroundings. All survey outfits include a flashlight, binoculars, and a horizon range, which is 10 kilometers. Personal radio for voice communication. In combat situation, you may take a focus turn to look around and claim a survey bonus. You must use a control action to turn the radio on and off or change the broadcast frequency. But once it's on, you can talk freely. Because there are...
Do I need that? Can't I get radio signals in my head?
Yeah, but not everybody can. So, I mean, you might need to...
So it's just sometimes if I forget that the humans or whatever else is in the party can't hear me, I'm just sitting there talking in my head.
Well, I mean, there's also situations where maybe you don't want somebody else's radio contacting your brain directly.
That's fair.
Survey outfits have a very broad selection of sensors, such as laser rangefinders, night vision goggles, ultraviolet goggles, parabolic microphones, paramagnetic scanners, and radiation counters. Like I said, having a sensor bonus on your outfit, or sorry, a survey bonus on your outfit means you have like a lot of shit to work with. Let's see, and an Aramid outfit is just basically armor. It's the bare minimum of having a D6 bonus to your soak. So I think we're going to go back up to what tends to be the actual first step of the game, determining your basic statistics, which is usually best to do at the end, because now we know what you want or what you're thinking about as the best things about your character. Your base statistics are your body, which is your strength, your health, how you fight and how you use heavy weapons, your speed, which is your agility, your coordination, how you shoot and dodge, your mind, which is your wits, your cleverness, and how you know stuff and get stuff fixed, your will, which is your stubbornness and bravery, how you compel others and resist others, your legacy, which is where you come from and how you use your strange alien powers, and your career, your job, and how you do it. And when it comes to assigning your statistics, you pick 2 good traits, which is, how good the best things you want to be at, and you have 1 trait which you suck at, and everything else is basically going to be average. So what 2 things do you want to be good at? Of those,
body and career.
All right.
Because I use my career die with fighting, right?
Yep. So you have a D8 body and a D8 career. And what do you want to suck at?
Will.
Alright, you have a D4
Wait.
will,
I am programmed to take orders.
and which means you have a D6 and everything else. Also, that means that you have, let's see, it means you have a D6, D8 in evasion, sorry, 2d8 in fighting, and a d4, d8 tactics. And that means you'll have a d4, d6 in craft, a d4, d6 endurance, and a d4, d6 transport. And the last thing I think we need to do is to fill out your battle array, which will also give us what, how you roll your attacks and your speed, your initiative, all that fun stuff. Let me just get to that math real quick. That way it'll be done for you before everything. You don't have danger sense or anything. You had a D6 mind and a D8 body, so that's your initiative, D6, D8. Oh, sorry. Your mind is just D6 and your speed's just D6, so it's 2D6. I was thinking about your movement speed, which is your body and your speed. Your stride is 1 because you move normally like everybody else. Your dodge is your speed and your evasion dice. So I think you had, what, D6, D8, so it's 2D6, D8 as your dodge. Let's see where we at. Dash. Your dash is your speed die, or half of your speed die. Your speed is a D6, so 3. And you add 1 to that if your body is greater than your speed, which it is, so you have a 4 dash. What this basically means is when you're taking your movement, you can either dash, scramble, or run. A dash is a set number of movement, in this case 4. A scramble is a random movement, which means you roll and you take the result you get from that. And a run is a stunt, which means you run a far distance, but when you're done moving, you're sent reeling and your turn ends. So
Okay.
your scramble is the maximum. Oh no, is your body die and your speed die, so that's a D6, D8. So basically, you could and you can add your stride to the end of any movement. So basically, you could dash 5 and then add a 1 and move 5, or you could decide you want to try and scramble to get some just a little bit further out of it and hope you got like a 6, 7, and 8 out of the roll. And your run, which is your body and your speed maximized, so 14 plus your dash, which would be 18. So yeah, you could either move those 2 short distances or decide that guy is way far away, I need to run to get there, so probably guard first and then make a run to move 18 and then be sent reeling. And the problem with being sent reeling is that means they have a bonus to hit you.
Okay.
Soak is determined by your body and your armor. You have a D6 armor and a D8 body. So that's your soak dice. Alright, we got that done. So now just your attacks. You've got an axe. You have a knife. You have a holdout pistol. You have fragmentation grenades. Which I always spell wrong, but fuck that. You have a holdout shotgun.
You mean I have an arm?
No, that's your military shotgun, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
Because you've decided to be a prescribed weapon onto yourself.
I decided to be illegal.
Yep. So let's find out how badly your axe hurts. Your axe is a two-handed weapon that threatens at close range and strikes at close range. And it uses your body and your fighting. And your fighting was 2d8. So you attack with 3d8 with an axe, and that does damage plus 2 critical.
Sweet. So I'm very scary with the axe.
Well, I think anyone swinging an axe at you is very scary.
That's true.
Alright, a knife. The knife threatens it close and strikes it close. It uses body, speed, and fighting. So 3d8 plus a d8 from, a d6 from your speed. So just a little bit more dice there than your axe, but that only does damage plus 0. So maybe a little bit more likely to hit, but less damage. Your holdout pistol threatens at short range and strikes at medium range. Also is a cap high weapon. And that uses your speed, your mind, your will, and your shooting.
Wait, there's a weapon that uses my will?
Yeah, that's one of the better things about the holdout pistol and the holdout shotgun is they have 3 stats that they use. That means if you're not good at shooting, you're at least probably good enough to wield them. And your shooting, which you did not take anything in. Your holdout pistol does damage plus 0. So you're just as likely, actually you're less likely to hit with your holdout pistol than you are with your knife. And they do the same amount of damage. While we're here, let's do your holdout shotgun, which threatens at near. Let me change all these C's to S's, I messed up there. Oh, and your holdout shotgun is cap low. Holdout shotgun is body, speed, and will, which means D8, 2d6. And your will, which is D4. And that does damage plus 0, but it also has nearby. So if they're in near range, that does an extra 2 damage.
That's the shotgun?
Yep, holdout shotgun. Your military shotgun threatens at near. It strikes at medium. Your military shotgun is actually cap high. And it uses your body, speed, and shooting. So literally only 2 dice. A D6 and a D8.
So my military shotgun is worse than my...
Well, the weapon itself is better. You're just not as good at using it. And as we said before,
is it too late to switch my arm to the holdout shotgun?
Well, that would only mean that you get like 1 shot. Well, here's the thing about that. You have bullet conservation.
Yeah.
Which means that you're, what I was saying before about cap low, meaning you only get 1 shot, you could use bullet conservation and just make the damage flat, which means that would be damage plus 0 nearby all the time, meaning if you're up close to somebody, that hashtag nearby would at least make the damage 2. Throwing that as an option for you. So I mean, if you want it to be your holdout shotgun, then yeah, and then your holdout shotgun is not prescribed, so you would still be a legal person. So you want to make that change?
No, I'll keep the military shotgun. I'll just hug people onto it.
All right. And
can I
now,
do that? Can I hold someone? Like, can I grab somebody with my other arm and
I mean, you can grapple,
force
sure.
my shotgun mouth into their, or shotgun fist into their mouth?
I mean, it's going to be the dice that decide that, not your. The dice portray your actions. You describe what the dice tell you. So.
But it's possible, right?
Yeah, everything is possible.
All right.
And you have 3 fragmentation grenades. Let's see. You equip them as offhand. They threaten at nothing. Basically means you can't counter with a grenade, but you can strike up to medium range.
I can't counter with a grenade.
Yeah, no.
What?
Somebody goes to punch you in the face. You cannot counter with a grenade.
I can't counter by pulling a grenade?
Let's see. You attack with a grenade with body, speed, and do you have any athletics? I mean, it can be. You can build up to that sort of shit.
That'd be hilarious. Someone's gonna punch you in the face, and your reaction is to pull a grenade and drop it at your feet.
You have no athletics, so literally your grenade hits as good as your military shotgun. Hey, at least you didn't go fragmentation grenade as your cybernetic weapon. My hand blows up.
That'd be kind of cool, though. I could punch people and blow up my hand.
And
lose the
fragmentations blast near for flat 3 damage. And that is... Let's see, have we gone through everything? Yeah. Oh, what was your career? 6 notes. No, I'm saying, sorry, I was asking what your career die was, which was a D6. No, it was a D8.
No, it's D8.
Yep, D8, which means you start the game with 8 notes, which is basically the unit of currency.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think that is everything required to make a character. Did you have any questions related to any of this so far that we can go over before we end the video?
Everything looks relatively fine. My shotguns are designed to do extra damage when I'm really close to somebody, right?
Your holdout shotgun is
My
yes.
holdout doesn't.
Yep, your holdout shotgun does, and your military shotgun does. Yep. Like I said, your holdout shotgun does damage plus 0, which means that every success you do adds 1 damage to that. And if you're close, or in this case near, you add an additional 2 damage on top of that. Whereas your military shotgun starts with damage plus 1, and every success you get on top of that adds to that. If you're nearby, or if you're near the target, it adds 2 damage. And that one also has sweep short. So if you're in short range, you can sweep to the next target if you hit.
Alright.
And sweeping again is the effect of like being in the game Doom and shooting one guy in the head and then shooting the next guy in the head and so on.
Yeah, just spraying the room down.
Alright, so everything good?
Yep.
Alright, again, this has been Ractus for character creation for Mr. Bones, played by TurtleJohn for the upcoming game of Myriad Song.